Okay, we have a 2003 Pontiac Grand Am 3.4 SE, and the motor mount is broken. It's located, that's actually the top of it. The bottom of it is down inside there. That's what the correct one looks like. This part here, as you can see, is going to be fairly weak. Sorry, this part right here. It's going to be fairly weak. There's a big bolt that goes here and a smaller bolt here. But when it gets bolted to the whole engine, and these three bolts hold the next piece in place, 1, 2, and 3, you can see that that's where the stress is going to be. And these two bolts here, although they look nice, really don't look like they're going to do much. Anyway, that's where the crack is, and I'm going to pull it apart. The first thing we need to do is jack up the motor, so let's get the jack out and we will get that set up. Okay, so there's the jack. Notice I've got a soft piece of wood on it that happens to be a piece of cedar, but we're going to jack the motor up a little bit so when we loosen up the motor mount, it doesn't collapse on the right-hand side of the car or the passenger side. So let's see if we can find a good spot to put that underneath the car. Super hard to see, isn't it? That's close to the right spot, but as you can see, I've got it a little bit off. I need to scoot it a little more forward. Okay, got some place. You notice it's on the motor. A little piece of wood is protecting the motor, the bottom of the oil pan and everything from the pressure from the jack itself. So, remove the handles so we don't hit it. And next thing is, let's get this out of the place. This is your cruise control, and it's pretty easy. You saw that metal clip that comes off. And I'm probably going to take, let's take this plug-in off as well. Sorry. So I removed that plug. It's all pretty simple. Put that up and out of the way. Took the plug out of the way. This metal bracket actually comes off pretty easily. So we'll set that up out of the way. Pull the plug in up behind it. So there's the top of the motor mount itself. Sorry about that. We're going to take these two nuts off, which are mounted on top of the motor mount that's bolted to the frame of the car, and we're going to pull those two bolts out. So I'll do that and be right back. Okay, this is not a commercial, but I love this stuff, Invisible Glove. I don't know if you've ever worn it or not, but my hands are fairly clean at the moment. And rubbing a pretty good coat of that stuff on your hands when you're done just washes off. No matter how much grime and grease and dried crud there is in your hands, as soon as you put a little soap and water on it, rinse it off, everything is gone. It works really well. So I'm going to pause this, put a little bit of that on before we start everything. Okay. The invisible glove is dried. You can see a little, it's not quite dry in the back of my hand, a little shiny, but whatever. And another goofy thing, the Pontiac is, some of it is metric, some of it is, and maybe there's a size that fits this better, but these are 15 mil nuts on top of these, so pull those babies off. I like to have a little tray to keep things in. You lose fewer things. Okay, and that is that. That's the top piece. It's actually a 4-piece motor mount or engine bracket, motor mount or something. But anyway, I've taken those two off. And I'm going to take these two off next, so I'll be right back. Okay, the last two bolts were 15 mil. These are 18 mil. So let's pull those off. And oops, I'm going to pause this so I can get those off and I'll be back. Okay, actually this is a good thing. When I loosened up that bolt, the motor lowered, so I need to raise the motor a little bit. Let me see that bolt. I took this one out, that little guy there out, and the whole motor dropped. Not much, half an inch or so, so I'm going to jack it up real quick and make sure that it's supposed to be, that it is where it's supposed to be. Okay, not that it's a good thing to have the motor not be the right height, but it's a good thing to show you what can happen. So make sure the motor's jacked up, and I raise it up a little bit. Pull that bolt off. So once you pull that bolt off, this whole top plate comes off. This is got two big bolts down there. Sorry, nuts holding it in place. You don't have to pull that one off, but the 3 bolts on this guy here that hold this into place are 95% blocked by that. So we're going to pull that off next. Make sure you keep all your nuts and bolts where they should be. And I'm going to pause it and get that motor mount that's bolted to the frame off, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm fortunate enough to have some air tools and a nice dry garage. I know that these things happen. I've done them all over the place, outside, whatever. So those 2 bolts holding that in place, that comes out. And just set it aside for now, next to my wife's plant, who thinks my workbench should be prettier, I guess. So that is that's the next piece to come out. So there's 3 bolts. I think they are 5/8. But that next piece right there is the next one to come out. So I'll take that out and be back.